Hello everyone and welcome back to Just Finish Coding. This is part 6 of our Sudoku series which we're making on Scratch 3. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Just finished coding.
Now I have to interject here that if you've not watched parts 1 to 5, please watch them before you come here because as you can see I'm picking up from where I left off. And for this video to make sense, you need to have watched the previous ones. I'll leave a card for you right here. Please watch the videos and then come right back. If you're still here, I'm going to assume that you've watched parts 1 to 5, in which case I have to show you this particular bug which needs to be fixed first. So when we press the green flag and all of the squares set up, and we just press a number without actually even coding anything, you can see that without even clicking on any of the squares, you can see that the numbers overwrite on this particular square. And that's not really what we want to happen. And the reason that's happening is because we're allowed to press the key before we selected a square. So to fix that, you can just head over to the pen number sprite and grab this is square selected variable and await until from the control category. Now you can just put that after can start is equal to yes, and you just have to wait until is square selected is equal to yes. And since we have is square selected setting to yes only after we have can start set to yes, I put it after we set can start to yes, and after we click a square, this should work fine. So now when we press the green flag and we try to do the same thing, we can no longer enter in a number. And that's perfect. So now what we can do is import the pencil sprites, and they're going to be remarkably similar to the pens. So I'm going to click on import pencil numbers, and there we go. So now you can head over to the pen sprite, and you can throw in a lot of similarities. But what I'm going to do before that is add in two if-thens to make sure this is unique, and I'd rather have these duplicated than do them twice. So the first thing is I'll be doing this only if the marking is equal to pen. So if marking is equal to pen, I'll put all this inside. And if the marking is equal to pen, only then will I even get, delete this particular clone. So I'll put that here as well. And this when I start as a clone is going to be automatically fixed because that is within this if then. Okay, so once you have those things in place, you can just drag and drop all of that inside the pencil sprite, and I'm not entirely sure where that sprite went. Alright, here it is. So you can drag and drop the code just the way you'd usually do it, and everything is going to be pretty much the same except for the fact that we'll be changing that marking equal to pen to marking equals pencil. So just hold on for a second while I throw in all this code, and there we go. So that is going to be the last block. And I'm going to head into the sprite and just arrange my code very quickly. So you can have all of this set up like that, and I think this is going to be the way I'll set it up. I'll set it up the normal way we set up the pen sprite. So let's drag this guy down, and there we go. So that's going to be all we need. And now I'm going to change marking equal pen to marking equal pencil, and I'll also change marking equal pencil here to marking pen here to marking equals pencil. There we go. So now what you can do is head over to the square sprite, and you need to make a couple of changes in your get coordinates function. And if you just run this code, what's really going to happen is that the pencil numbers, although they are smaller, and you should have noticed that their default size was 15 while the pen numbers was 33. So anyway, what that's going to result in is all of these things are going to go right in the center of the square instead of the top. And that's clearly something we need to fix because we don't want the pencil numbers over the pen. We need them at the top of the square. So to fix that, just head over to the square, and you can put all of this within an if else. Okay, so you can say if clone number is equal to number like this. All right, or you can even do it this way. So I'll put the if else here, and I'll also put another if inside this, and I will say if marking is equal to pen, then we can do all of this. But if marking is not equal to pen, then I will check once again if marking is equal to pencil. Because like I said in I think the last video, at the end of the program marking is going to be set to neither pen nor pencil. So it's important to have another if then checking for that. So if marking is equal to pencil, now we have to check once again if the pencil side is left or right. So I'm going to duplicate that condition, change this to pencil side, and I will say if pencil side is equal to left, then we do something, and otherwise we do something else. Now between the X and Y positions, the Y position is pretty easy to set up. And what you can do is just duplicate that and put it outside the if else, and you can head over to operators and grab a plus. And the Y position is always going to be the Y position of the square plus 8, and that is pretty much going to be it. Now as far as the X position is concerned, that's a little bit different. So I will duplicate this particular block of code, and for our left I'll be saying not plus, minus x position, x pos or x position is equal to the x position of the square minus 9, and if the pencil side is equal to right, then what I'll do is I'll duplicate this y pos right there, and I kind of messed up the code, but there we go. So I will be setting x pos to be x position plus 8, and you may think, well, why exactly is there a difference? And the reason there's a difference is because they just happen to fit correctly that way. And I think the numbers aren't perfectly centered, as in if we head over to the costumes of the pencil numbers, these things I did set them up perfectly according to their centers by the SVG file. But if you actually look at it properly, this isn't really the center of the sprite. I mean, the center is more going to be here or something like that. So I think that's a problem with the centering, and not so much with the added numbers. So now we can run our program, and I'm going to test this out really quickly. So I'll be clicking on one of these squares, I'll be pressing P to switch, and I'll enter in a number, and nothing really shows. Okay, yeah, it does shows up. So it does show up, and I'm going to change it once again, and I'll enter in a number once again, and something's really wrong with this, because for some reason the number erased itself, and it showed up on the other square. And that's kind of weird, but what's really happening is the fact that this code is executing perfectly, and it's deleting that particular number just because its clone square is equal to the current clone. And to fix this, all we need to do is add an additional condition here. So we just need to say and. So in addition to the clone square being current clone, the side of it also needs to be the pencil side. So just to fix that, we can make a new variable. I'm going to call it clone side, set it for this sprite only, and you can hide that. And here you can just say set clone side, set clone side to be the pencil side. And here you can just add in and clone side is equal to pencil side. So I'll grab an equal to from the operators, put it within my and put clone side is equal to pencil side. And now let's run our program, and I'm pretty sure I did it correctly this time, and there shouldn't be any errors. So I'm gonna just pick I don't know, the square for once. I'll enter in. Okay, that was unnecessary. So I will probably change it to pencil first. Then I will press 1 and it enters in perfectly. And now when I switch the pencil side to right and I enter a 3, that works perfectly as well. And that is pretty much all you need to do for your pencils, and that was quite a bit of code already. And before I end this video, I will do two different things. And first I'll head over to the pen number sprite, and in addition to showing all of this, I will add in a couple of things. And here's where I'm going to actually change stuff in the board list, and this is where we actually start to get into how to have the answers set up and all of that. I won't be setting up how to check if the board list is complete now, but I will be having the changes for it. So I will replace item current clone. Oops, that was unnecessary. So I will replace item current clone of not answer but of board with number. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do here. And I'm gonna have a simple check here. So I will say if then. So if the board contains something, and you can just grab it from the variables category itself, and this should be a pretty easy thing to do. And you can just add in a space there. So if board contains a space, it means it's not filled up yet. And to make sure it's that this condition is reversed, all you have to do is add in a not, and this is going to make sure that all this inside the if is only going to happen if the board is filled up. And I'm not really going to do much stuff. I'm just going to say broadcast message, check if winner. That's all I'm going to do, and I'm going to click enter. And I'm also going to do one more thing in our controller sprite. So you can click on that, and here if you see our background, we have something which says C to clear square, and we haven't programmed that part yet, and I'm going to do it with the left arrow and right arrow. So let's duplicate that, and here I'm going to say if key C is pressed, then I will not set pencil side to right, but I will broadcast a message called clear square. So clear square, and it's going to be surprisingly simple in both our pen numbers and our pencil numbers. So you can just say when I receive clear square, I will do the same thing as when I receive get square position. So let me drag that down because I'm a bit tied up for space here. There we go. So when I receive clear square, I will check if marking is pen, and then if the clone square is the current clone, I will just delete that square, and that is pretty much all you need to do. And now when we press the green flag and just enter in a pen number for, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Or actually, let me do it for the pencil numbers as well first. So I will click on the pencil numbers, and I will duplicate this particular message, and I will drag that below and change that to clear square. Alright, so let me press the green flag now, and I'll make a couple of markings and then I'll attempt to erase them. So let's start here first with a pen marking. 1, I will enter in a 4 here, and let's enter in some pencil markings here. So P to switch, and I will enter 1 and a 3 over here. Alright, so I'm going to change that to right and enter in a 5. I think that's pretty much going to be all we need to do for now. And here if we click on the square and press C, nothing really happens, and I'm pretty surprised at this. I'm pretty sure that something needed to happen there, so I will check my code out once and then I will be right back. Alright, so as it turned out, there was no bug, and the reason that this wasn't working was because the marking was set to pencil. So it was attempting to erase a pencil coordinate here. So if you press P to switch it to pen and then try to erase it with a C, it just disappears, and the 4 disappears as well. Now if we press the C here when our marking is pen while there's only a pencil mark, nothing's going to happen. And if we change the marking to be pencil and then we switch it to left and then press C, you can see that we erase all of this, and I'm going to erase all of that, and there we go. This works perfectly, and I'm going to end this video right here. In the next video, we'll get into setting up the answer so that when we click on solution, all the entire answer just shows up on the board. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a like, and also don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.